Well, I'm not quite certain if I will see anybody's comments, and I'm using my new toy to help hold the camera. First, I just want to tell everybody that I'm trying to make a few changes to the way that I post the content because of the way that I want attention drawn to the channel or not. So let me just put it that way. And one thing I just want to do real quick is I just want to take a look to see what this is. Oh, there we go. So apparently I will see you all posting any type of comment. So somebody's here. And so because Jim, oh, there we go. All right, it's Jim. Well, yeah, you had mentioned that you liked how the phone shot the scene. And so I'm using that. And I'm using this little harness that I have to actually make that work. And so I thought that I know somebody had said the book of Ezekiel, and as I was poking around in this learning, I suddenly it just popped open to Lamentations real quick, and I gotta admit, just I'm sort of in mood for something like that. So one thing among states is become a thrall. Bitterly she weeps in the night, her cheek wet with tears. There is none to comfort her. All of her friends, all her allies have betrayed her. They have become her foes. Judah has gone into exile. Because of misery and harsh oppression, she told among nations, she found no rest. All of her pursuers overtook her. In the narrow places, Zion's roads are in mourning, empty of festival pilgrims. All her gates are deserted, her priests sigh, her maidens are, her enemies, her foes are fair. Zion are all that were her glory. Her leaders were like stags, they found no pasture, that found no pasture. They could only walk feebly before the pursuer. When her people fell by enemy hands, with none to help her, when enemies looked on and gloated over her downfall. Jerusalem has greatly sinned. Therefore she has become a mockery. All who admit her despise her, for they have seen her disgraced. She can only sigh and shrink back. Her uncleanness clings to her skirts. She gave no thought to her future. She has sunk appallingly with none to comfort her. See, O Lord, my misery, how the enemy jeers. The foe has laid hands on every which you have denied admission in for bread. They have bartered for treasures. They have bartered their treasures for food to keep themselves alive. See, O Lord, and behold how abject I have become. May it never befall you, all who pass along the road about and see. Is there any agony like mine, which was dealt out to me when the Lord afflicted me on his day of wrath? Far above he sent a fire down into my bones. He struck a net for my feet. He hurled me backward. He has left me forlorn. In constant misery, the yoke of my offenses is bound fast. Lashed tight by his hand, imposed upon my neck, it saps my strength. The Lord has delivered me into the hands of those I cannot withstand. The Lord in my midst has rejected all my heroes. He has proclaimed a set time against me to crush my young men. As an oppressed, the Lord has trodden. Fair maiden Judah, for these things do I weep. My eyes flow with tears. Far from me is any comforter who might revive my spirit. My children are forlorn, for the foe has prevailed. Zion spread out her hands. She has no one to comfort her. The Lord has summoned against Jacob his enemies all about him. Jerusalem has become among them a thing unclean. The Lord is in the right, for I have disobeyed him. Hear, all you peoples, behold my agony. My maidens and my youths have gone into captivity. I cried out to my friends, and they played me false. My priests and my elders have perished in the city, as they searched for food to keep themselves alive. See, O Lord, the distress I am in. The heart is in anguish. I know how wrong I was to disobey. Outside the sword deals death, indoors the plague. When they heard how I was sighing, there was none to comfort me. All my foes of my plight and exulted. All my foes heard of my plight and exulted, for it is your doing. You have brought on the day that you threatened. Oh, let them become like me. Let all their wrongdoing come before you, and deal with them as you have dealt with me for all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is sick. Chapter 2. Alas, the Lord in his wrath has shamed fair Zion, has cast down from heaven to earth the majesty of Israel. He did not remember his footstool on his day of wrath. The Lord has laid waste without pity. All the inhabitants of Jacob he has raised in his anger fair Judah's strongholds. He has brought low in dishonor the kingdom and its leaders. In blazing anger he has cut down all the might of Israel. He has withdrawn his right hand in the presence of the foe. He has ravaged Jacob like flaming fire, consuming on all sides. He bent his bow like an enemy, poised his right hand like a foe. He slew all who delighted the eye. He poured out his wrath like fire in the tent of fair Zion. The Lord has acted like a foe. He has laid waste Israel, laid waste all her citadels, destroyed her strongholds. He has increased within fair Judah mourning and moaning. He has stripped his booth like a garden. He has destroyed his tabernacle. The Lord has ended in Zion festival and Sabbath. In his raging anger he has spurned king and priest. The Lord has rejected his altar, disdained his sanctuary. He has handed over to the foe the walls of its citadels. They raise a shout in the house of the Lord, as on a festival day. The Lord resolved to destroy the wall of fair Zion. He measured with a line, refrained not. From bringing destruction, he has made wall and rampart to mourn. Together they languish. Her gates have sunk into the ground. He has smashed her bars to bits. Her king and her leaders are in exile. Instruction is no more. Her prophets, too, receive no vision from the Lord. Silent, sit on the ground. The elders of fair Zion, they have strewn dust on their heads and girded themselves with sackcloth. The maidens of Jerusalem have bowed their heads to the ground. My eyes are spent with tears, my heart is in tumult. My being melts away over the ruin of my poor people. As babes and sucklings languish in the squares of the city, they keep asking their mothers, where is bread and wine? As they languish like battle wounded in the squares of the town, as their life runs out in their mothers' bosoms. What can I take as witness or liken to you, O fair Jerusalem? What can I match with you to console you, O fair maiden Zion? For your ruin is vast as the sea. Who can heal you? Your seers prophesied to you, but prophesied to you oracles of delusion and deception. All who pass your way clap their hands at you. They hiss and wag their head at fair Jerusalem. Is this the city that was called perfect in beauty, joy of all the earth? All your enemies jeer at you. They hiss and gnash their teeth and cry, "We've ruined her." Ah, this is the day we hoped for. We have lived to see it. The Lord has done what he purposed. He carried out the decree that he ordained long ago. He is torn down without pity. He has let the foe rejoice over you, has exalted the might of your enemies. Their heart shed no rest. Arise, cry out in the night at the beginning of the watches. Pour out your heart like water in the presence of the Lord. Lift up your hands to him for the life of your infants who faint for hunger at every street corner. See, O Lord, and behold, to whom you have done this. Alas, women eat their own fruit, their newborn babes. Alas, priest and prophet are slain in the sanctuary of the Lord. Prostrate in the street lie both young and old. My maidens and youths are fallen by the sword. You slew them on your day of wrath. You slaughtered without pity. You summoned as on a festival my neighbors from round about on the day of the wrath of the Lord. None survived or escaped. Those whom I bore and reared, my foe has consumed. And that begins the reading of Lamentations from the Jewish Study Bible. Thank you for joining me for tonight. As you'll see, the content, if you go to the main page of the channel, you'll see that a lot of the content has been whittled down because I have to kind of look out for some of what I post to the internet for a while as I search for work. And as usual, I'll be posting all the normal descriptors and everything in the underbar. Posting it all to Gab and posting it to Minds, and making sure that I put this out on Twitter as well. Twitter as well. And so and if there's anything you would like to say, just post it in the comments. I will see you all tomorrow night. And as usual, when you see in any point you see anything like my Cash App or my PayPal, I could greatly appreciate any donations you can make. But I will definitely see you all tomorrow night. So stay safe out there, and Godspeed.